Hello and welcome to Build Series Sydney. I am your host, Danny Clayton, and joining us in the studio, psychedelic international band of mystery glass animals. Hello, boys. How are you doing?
Hello.
Very well,
Really
thanks.
good. How are you?
I'm good. Now that you're here, we can talk all things music and festivals and touring. And seems to be Australia. You seem to come here a fair bit. Well, what is it about this country that you seem to like so much? Gosh.
We like it. We did some of our first shows here.
Yeah.
The
First
Ding Dong
shows abroad.
Lounge.
Yeah, that was
Rest
good.
in peace.
The Ding Dongs.
Have
Ding
you
Dong
been?
Lounge.
Have you been to the Ding Dong
It's gone
Lounge?
now.
I think it might be. Is this Melbourne or Sydney?
Yeah, this
Melbourne,
is
yeah.
Melbourne.
Okay, no, sorry. What was it like? Was it
I
worth
think it's where
seeing?
people go to take pingers in Melbourne.
Oh.
Very small
From
and
what I could
sweaty.
tell.
It's great.
We didn't have any. We were told off. We had 21 minutes of music when we arrived.
We were
Released
told by
one
we
EP.
were told by our tour manager there was going to be a riot
Oh, dear.
because we only had 21 minutes of music,
Okay.
and that was not enough.
Wow. How did you flesh it out? What'd you do? Just
We played GUI about 4
Played
times. I
4
think.
times and a really long psychedelic version with like guitar
Yeah.
solo, drum solo.
Yeah, 15-minute guitar solos.
Milked
Yeah.
it.
Well, hopefully you don't have to do that now. I mean, you've got a slew of new music, and now Tokyo Drifting, new single, banger. I'm going to throw it out
Thanks.
there. Who's heard it? You guys have heard it? Heard Bang It? Yep. I wanted to know where this song came from. Are you just a huge fan of Japan, or are you a huge fan of Too Fast, Too Furious, the series?
Am I allowed to tell the real story?
Yeah.
My manager's shaking her head. No way.
Absolutely.
Do you want
not.
to do two? Do you want to do a fake story and the real story, and then we'll guess which one?
Definitely no. No.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, that just ruined.
I mean, it's
you
not
know.
that great
It's not
a story.
great a story.
It was a good story.
It had
but
one
not
name.
Like
We had to change the name.
Okay.
And I actually like this name more
Okay.
because it's my favorite bit. Denzel Curry, who features on the track, like says "Tokyo Drift" in such a cool way. Then he goes and punctuates those words really well, and they were a very natural fit after we were told our first title.
Okay. I mean, how did you
Wasn't
guys
usable.
team up with Denzel Curry? I mean, this guy is one of the hottest names in hip hop from Miami. How did a British band catch up with Denzel Curry?
That was Dave pestering, I
I
think.
annoyed him.
You annoyed him.
I sent him a lot of messages until he responded. I actually sent him a lot of messages and he didn't reply at all. And then, like, a friend of a friend was on tour with him and played him the beat. And then he replied. He was like,
Yeah.
"This is fire."
Yeah.
That's all he said.
Did he
And-
use the emoji or did he write
no,
fire?
he wrote it out.
Okay.
And then he just said, "I got you." And like a day later, he sent some stuff over. And it was
Fantastic.
Very efficient.
He was
Yeah.
very efficient. Yeah.
Dare I say it was quite a surprising sound for Glass Animals? Because when I was first introduced to your music, it was, like 2012, and it was very kind of chill wave. And so to listen to this wild banger, it was quite a shock. Did you want to flip expectations with this new tune?
Well, I mean, it's kind of what the song is about, isn't it?
Yeah.
As far as I understand it, which-
If you're allowed to tell us, of course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's about Dave's alter ego,
My Sasha Fierce.
and the
Wavey
music
Davey.
kind of
Yeah.
reflects that a bit.
Yeah. It's meant to be like, it's about, I don't know, I think people create these alter egos, like sort of alter egos for themselves on the internet now. And like, there's a very curated version of yourself that you present to the world. And, that's not actually real life. You kind of have to pretend to be that person, assume this alter ego. And for a lot, I'm not naturally, I'm quite shy, but to make myself do things, I can like pretend to be this other person a little bit, to go on stage and stuff. I can be this
Wow.
other character.
Well, tell us about this person, the Sasha Fierce.
The Wavey Davey is the
Wavey
character.
Davey.
Yeah.
I mean, when did Wavey Davey turn up? I mean, this is probably a better question for you. When did you notice Wavey Davey turn up?
I mean, I've.
And
I
when
kind
does he
of-
come out?
I've known Dave for quite a long time, and I think I probably first noticed Wavey Davey when we started performing as a band. I think
Long time ago.
you had to, because Dave is quite a naturally shy man, but being a frontman of a band, requires quite a lot more
Alcohol.
alcohol. Exactly. So I think that was probably the first time I ever met Wavey Davey.
Yeah, I didn't. I only just met Wavey Davey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because your first shows, I mean, you guys were both together for those first shows. Is that correct? So
Yeah.
can you remember that first Glass Animals gig when Wavey Davey might not have had a chance to
Yeah,
turn
it
up yet?
sucked. It was so bad.
Yeah, not very good. There was about 2.5 songs worth of music
Yeah, we
by
really
that
didn't
point.
have any music.
Yeah, it was, I mean, hilarious. I'm very glad no one was there to see it. Yeah.
It was like
I mean,
opening. It was. I think we were playing like before the headliner. Before like 4 bands down
in a tiny venue.
in a tiny venue across from my house, and we like begged them to let us play,
Okay.
and it was so bad.
Do you remember when the scales shifted? Like when things changed for Glass Animals?
I mean, it was definitely a progression. I don't think there was
it
a
was a
day
long
where we
build.
just like could perform. It was like we had to teach ourselves how to do it. I
Yeah,
think.
we kind of started. We started like the first. Basically, we released the album. I don't think it did very well, and kind of got shipped off to America to tour. And we were in like a Camry, like a little 5-seater, and then it went okay. So they sent us back, and then we were in like a soccer mom van, and then they were like, "Cool." Went back, we're in a bigger van, and then went back, and in a bus, and then it's just like going back and back and back, round and round and round, and then eventually.
I actually think South by Southwest
South by
was
Southwest
quite
was a moment.
formative
Yeah.
moment in Glass Animals'
Yeah.
performing career.
2016?
No, earlier than that.
Early 2014?
13,
Maybe.
maybe?
Oh, wow.
14?
It was
Early
just before the album,
2014.
2014, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
just went
great,
once,
though.
It was amazing. We did like 8 shows in 4 days. Or
It
something.
was
Wow.
nuts.
And when you look
Completely
back
nuts.
at those times where you are in a soccer car, a soccer mum car driving across the country, do you look back at that and think fondly, or is that quite a tough time for the band you had to persevere through?
Well, Dave liked it so much, we're gonna
Doing it again.
do it again at
Yeah.
some point soon, I think.
We kind of.
That's probably not allowed to be said either. Sorry, Amy. But yeah,
we've
the
ruined
plan
this.
is to kind of go back to basics soon and like recreate the original soccer mum vibes because it was so fun.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like this is a great opportunity because you two are essentially music festival professionals. You have played every festival in the world, basically. I mean, Lollapalooza, Reading, Glastonbury, Coachella. So you've got a great deal of experience beneath your belts. So with all of that knowledge, what do you think your favourite music festival to play in the world is?
All the Australian ones.
Yes.
Ah, you knew just what to say.
Oh yeah.
Australian festivals are great. I mean, they're really great actually because they're in the middle of our winter, obviously. So coming to Australia and having summer is great.
And you tend to do it with a bunch of other, like sometimes they're your friends and sometimes they're not your friends till after the festival. It's like a circuit.
Sure.
You're getting on the same like
Same
6
hotels.
a.m. red-eye flight
Yeah.
with the same people every day.
It's really nice actually.
You're
That
forced to be
doesn't
friends.
happen anywhere else.
Yeah. Are there any bands that you remember from your tours here?
Yeah, who did we make friends with?
Jaguar Ma.
Jaguar
Ah,
Ma. And then we
psychedelic.
took them on tour with us.
Yeah.
And we played the States and we've opened for them before, I think.
Yeah.
It was great.
Mm.
They're lovely. I haven't seen them in a minute, but we should hit them up now that we're here.
Yeah. I think they're all in England.
Yeah, they're actually, I know John is in London a lot.
It seems like a lot of Australian bands do go to London to record. Is there a reason that they're all disappearing off to your country?
The weather's really good over there.
Maybe a preference for Marmite
Okay.
over Vegemite. That is actually bone of contention with Jaguar Ma. I had a big argument with them about that.
Friday
Yeah.
at Glastonbury.
This is going to be
Yeah.
a can of worms. I don't
Yeah,
want
I'm
to.
not- let's
You
not
don't
do
want to
that.
give me a mad side here. Vegemite is the superior spread, but we could talk about this after.
Yeah.
We can talk about it after the
We'll
interview.
take ours.
I'm just saying it is the superior spread.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Okay, you disagree. We'll talk
Yeah.
about it
All
later.
disgusting.
Coachella this year looked sensational. How did you deal, two British lads, with the heat of a desert and all of those people. It looked great. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, when did we play? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. That was like proper. I think that's probably one of the biggest crowds we've ever played to.
Yeah.
The footage looked
and it
just
was
like a mass of
so
people.
hot.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I had a
So
broken
hot.
leg, which was awkward.
Yeah, you got carried on.
I got
by
carried
some
on by
beautiful
really
men.
strong, handsome men. It was great. And it was like so quick. Went on stage and you just see that many people. And you're like humans aren't meant to see that many people at once. I think in the past when people have seen that many people, they've seen them like,
run
at war.
Yeah.
And you're like loading a musket or something. And so the instant reaction is just like, turn around.
Yeah, get out. It's terrifying.
Yeah, so you just run on adrenaline and it feels like 2 seconds and it's over. You're like, was that okay?
I mean, do you prefer the bigger shows or the intimate shows?
They're so different.
Yeah.
It's so different. It's like a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
Like last night we played to like, how many people was that? 600 or something.
That was amazing. It was
And
like
it
a
was
sweaty
so
club
fun.
Sure.
It's like a room this
You can
size,
see
just
the-
packed.
Yeah, the Prince Band Room you played
Yeah.
last night in Melbourne. A friend was there and said that things got pretty wild. You were singing and dancing from the top of the bar surface, which seems risky for someone who's prone to breaking legs.
Very slippery.
Very slippery.
Yeah, I didn't think that through.
Okay.
I initially tried another bar surface in the venue and tried to climb that, and it kind of collapsed. So
Oh, dear.
I had to go to another one, and that was slippery. Yeah, I shouldn't do it anymore, really. Or maybe I should put some Velcro where I'm going to go,
Yeah.
and then some shoes, and then just like, I'll be all right. Yeah.
How frequently do you leave the stage? Because the stage is a controlled environment where you're relatively safe.
Yeah.
And then once you step off the stage, anything can happen. So how frequently would you step off the stage?
Quite a lot. I actually try not to, but I do it quite a lot.
A couple of times a show,
A couple of times a show.
doesn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, at
I
least
don't really know what
once.
happens on stage. I'm Wavey Davey on stage. I just like forget and I'm in the zone. But yeah, it's at least once a show maybe.
Yeah.
And then if they're a bit frisky, I escape back to the stage.
It's probably harder for you to leave the stage.
Yeah, I can't. I've never left the stage.
It's very difficult to move a drum kit into
Yeah.
the crowd.
We were
Not saying
thinking
it's
about
impossible.
Yeah, we were thinking about getting a drum kit that moves.
Like one of those hamster balls or something. Just like
A Zorb.
Zorb, yeah.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
definitely do
That would be sick.
Have you ever regretted leaving the stage? Like, have you ever gone off the stage and realised that you've made a
Absolutely.
huge mistake?
Yeah, just like we did one test show in our hometown in Oxford back in England.
Yeah.
And I was wearing, stupidly, these trousers, which are Velcro, not really made for playing live. And
Okay.
I went up to the crowd and my tour manager was like trying to stop me from falling into the crowd. Velcro started coming undone and nearly had a Lenny Kravitz moment.
Oh no.
It was really close. I actually had to physically attack him, my
Oh, dear.
tour manager, and then he let go. And
Okay.
I kind of had to refasten in front of everyone.
Okay. It was a great show though. Everyone had a great time.
It was great. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm fascinated by your live show because something that really stands out about Glass Animals for me is the complexity of the sound that you managed to capture in your recordings. There seems to be so many different sonic characters and samples and sounds. So when it does come to turning that sound into something you can perform live, is that something that takes a while to work out? I mean, how many hands do you guys have on stage to make these sounds?
Yeah, I mean
It's hard.
that's one of the big kind of undertakings. Write the music first, and then you've got to work out how to translate those songs into the live.
Favorite.
Yeah, you've got to dissect the songs and find out what it is about the song that makes the song, because there are bits that are kind of superfluous, I guess. And then there are other things that if you get rid of, you realise you've completely lost the soul of it. So you kind of
Some
have
trial
to...
and errors. Like we don't
Yeah,
always get it
exactly.
right. The first 10 times we play a song, we're still working it out. And
So the live sound changes
yeah,
from gig
sometimes
to
we're
gig.
like, oh, that bit doesn't really work so well live. Let's try it with this instrumentation instead. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a sound that you kind of really put a lot of work into keeping in the show, which would be kind of difficult to make with a conventional instrument?
Oh, there are so many samples, and
There's some songs that we don't play because of that, because you just can't really get it right live. And they sort of, it's sad, but we do try, and there are some really dodgy recordings of us trying them and failing miserably.
we made a rule very early on that we would never play with a backing track.
So that's the real solution.
That is the solution. So like we kind of did limit ourselves by making that rule, but it does mean that everything is fluid live. So we're not kind of pinned down. So if Dave decides to go walking in the middle of the show, we can all just carry on playing rather than having to fit in with something that's already decided.
And if the crowd are like on shrooms or something, you can play like chill version of the set. And if they're like us,
like last
Australians
night,
dance a lot.
Yeah.
Last night everything was fast
so we played
because it
fast.
was sweaty and hot, and
Wow.
everyone was going for it. So all of the songs were faster. But if it's like a summertime festival at 3 p.m. and everyone's stoned and sitting down, it can be really chilled out if we want it to be.
Okay, so let me clarify, because this sounds like a pretty important point here, that while you're playing, you can judge what kind of style you will play the song. So you can choose between a people on mushrooms kind of set versus a you've had too much to drink kind of set.
Yeah, well, you kind of get, I mean,
See the crowd and
It's
watch the opening act as
yeah.
well helps.
It's a relationship, I think, performing. You kind of respond to, you get energy from the crowd, and then you give back energy, which you can kind of work out what people are responding to. When it gets really fast and like furious, if people start going wild, you can see that that's what the crowd need.
Fantastic.
So you can kind of respond to it rather than them having to fit in with what you're doing,
Wow.
I guess.
Does this influence the way that you write new music and come up with new sounds and think about producing new songs? Do you think, well, we're going to have to turn this into a live show soon, so we'll get on the front foot and make sure that we can actually do this on stage? Or is it just make the music, deal with turning it live later?
Yeah, you kind of. I think subconsciously you get influenced a little bit, but you have to try not to think about the live situation when you're making music. Otherwise, you can fall into traps. And on record, it should be a different thing. It should be if you want to listen to the album, go home and put it on a CD. And the live shows different thing.
Okay. Now, I wanted to talk to you about something that you do. You seem to have a really great relationship with your fans online. And every now and then, you'll say, hey, if you don't have a ticket, let us know why you deserve a ticket. We might give you one. Last night, you had some pretty interesting responses. Someone said that they were going to turn up dressed as a dragon fruit.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that one? Oh, yeah, I did a little
Did you let them in?
Insta thing. Yeah.
Did you get them in?
Yeah.
Dressed as a
Got in.
dragon?
Did they dress up as a dragon fruit?
Wow.
Dressed up as a dragon fruit,
she
singing all
come?
the wrong words.
Ah,
Right over on the front.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And someone else said they were...
Went full on, like pink hair with green.
Really?
Face paint. The lot.
I did
Okay.
not see that.
It was amazing.
Is this the one of the wilder things that someone's done for tickets, or...?
We had a guy dressed as a whoopee cushion. Which I couldn't
Sorry,
refuse.
a what?
Do you know what a whoopee cushion is?
A
One
whoopee
of those,
cushion,
with
the
those,
fart?
Yeah.
Fart machine.
I just wanted to make sure that you were saying whoopee
Yeah.
cushion.
Yeah. He just tweeted us and was like, "I'll come dressed as a whoopee cushion if you let me in." So I was like,
Yeah.
it's hard to say no to that.
Well, actually, funnily enough, there's a gentleman here with a Glass Animals shirt on.
I
What would
noticed
he
that.
have to dress up as to come to tonight's show?
I mean, what can you dress up as?
A rabbit suit?
Rabbit suit.
That
Alright.
sounds
That's
doable.
That's pretty good. Rabbit or Beyonce.
Okay.
Either one.
We'll leave it with the committee. We'll see what they say. I mean, she bought her tickets, so think ahead
Gee,
next
oh,
time.
wicked.
And you talking back and forth with your fans, it does seem to be an important part of what it is to be a glass animal. Have you ever gone the other way? Has a fan ever invited you into maybe their parties or gotten you presents or something like that?
There's a lot of we get made a lot of brownies.
Get made a lot of brownies.
There's a lot of brownies.
Very
a lot
risky.
of cookies.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
desserts.
Well, Dave does. Yeah.
I love brownies. I have a problem where I just can't stop eating them.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is stuff in them.
Okay.
And you create a
Like
feedback
nuts,
loop.
almonds.
Almonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also we got invited to a house party once. Do you remember? After
we did,
a
yeah.
gig. So yeah,
That
we
was really funny.
and we ended up playing a kind of impromptu set at this like college kids house party,
That
which was
fun.
very funny. We were absolutely wasted.
Yeah, and we had
It
to
was a complete
smash.
disaster.
And then our tour bus
But very
turned up
funny.
in this like
outside the
suburb
party.
in where was it? Kansas.
Yeah,
Tour
was
bus
amazing.
Came down and picked us up at the end. It was so weird.
yeah. All got out of hand very fast. All of our crew came in and set up all of the stage. It was
They're
so
being really
funny.
professional, actually, considering how drunk they were.
Yeah. Did you play well?
Good job.
Or?
No,
It was
no.
terrible.
I'm not sure that was the point though.
Yeah. It sounds like that scene from Almost Famous. But we'll get across to the fan question right now. And that is, Nicole says, what's the meaning behind the dragon fruit for Tokyo drifting?
I mean, in a very serious way, we have done a couple of collaborative tracks with people who are just way better than us. And it's a series called Fresh Fruit, and they've all had a different fruit on the cover.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're kind of hidden out there.
Okay, it sounds like you worked really hard to get where you are. What advice would you give for budding artists and musicians who are wanting to make it in the industry? This is a question we seem to get a lot.
Really?
Yep.
I think the thing that has Philip once said to us, who is an old friend of ours, who's an old man,
Wise, very wise.
a very wise man. He said, "Ignore everyone else and follow your own instinct." Because we were making a song with him at the time, and we had other people saying, "Make it this long," or chop the intro in half, and we wanted to keep it a certain way, and we did. And I'm really glad that he said that, because I think trusting your own instincts is what helps keep your character in art that you make. So I think trusting your own gut instinct about things is really important.
Brilliant.
Not trying to fit in with what other people
Sure.
might want.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, it certainly made you guys stand out in a huge way. How are you English lads going to spend your spare time in Sydney? And have you packed your... I didn't ask this. Have you packed your Factor 50 SPF sunscreen?
Do we have spare time?
No, I don't think
No.
we have any spare time.
If our managers have anything to do with it,
You're not going to get to the
no
beach
spare time.
like every other British tourist, like lying down on Bondi,
We fry.
getting too burnt.
Go this
That
colour.
did actually happen to me in New Zealand.
That was so funny. Joe fell
Before- it
asleep
was before
for like
Laneway.
20 minutes before
Yeah.
the festival.
I went to the pool and fell asleep for 20 minutes, and I was
Had to like peel him
so-
off. It was.
I was like a lobster,
so
and then we
bad.
had to walk on stage, and I literally couldn't move. It was
It's
horrible.
strong. Wear
dangerous
sunscreen.
here.
Do you wear sunscreen on stage?
I mean, it depends if we're inside. No. If we're outside, maybe. Yeah.
Makes sense. Speaking of, sunset slot at Coachella. Do festivals get any better than that?
That was the one.
I mean, that was
that was the one. That was special.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But I hope I hope we'll have other amazing moments too. I mean, we have had loads.
Yeah. I mean, that is dreamy.
Yep.
Yep.
proper
Sunset is a
dreamy.
great time to play a festival.
Especially Coachella, because it starts to cool down
Yep.
a little bit. It's so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine for Australians, but for
What about
us.
cities though? Like, because I mean, it seems like Coachella is one that most bands say that they love because bands seem to be taken care of quite well at that festival. But when you think about places that you love to play, and you don't have to say Australia, where are those cities around the world that you love to travel to?
I mean, Glastonbury for me is not a city, but
It's an
that
amazing
was-
thing. It's a
we-
city when it's on.
yeah, I mean, it's
It's
bigger than
great.
Oxford, where we're from, which is a city. But that is quite special,
Yeah,
just because of our, like, we used to go when we were
we were little kids.
small. So, you know, going back to places that you've experienced music as a fan,
And you've
then
like seen your
playing-
favourite,
Yeah.
you know, musician on the other side of the fence, and then you're sitting there and you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
It's quite weird from the
I
other
actually
side.
said that to you at Glastonbury. I was like, what are we?
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, with
Um,
the 200 or 220,000 people, I hear.
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's a
many
lot of
people
humans.
and not a lot of clothes.
No,
Yeah.
just a lot of mud.
Yeah.
A lot of mud.
Yeah, a lot of mud.
Another one coming in from online. What has been some of the most crazy experiences that you've had while on tour? Let us live vicariously through you.
I mean, this is mostly Drew.
This is Drew. We
Drew
can't.
anecdotes.
I'm not sure we're allowed to say any of it. Sadly,
Crazy stories.
we had.
oh my
I
God.
Go on, you can tell it. We're amongst friends.
I think one of the worst things I've done is I left something on stage. This was really early on. I left. we were pretty skint. We didn't have much. Yeah, and I'd forgotten a guitar cable on stage at this I don't know, was it like mini festival thing? There's like loads of bands on, and I forgot a guitar cable, and that was really important to us. It cost like 10 quid. So after a couple of drinks, I decided I would just crawl on stage while the next act were playing, really quietly. Didn't work.
It was strangest band as
This
well.
band Acid Mother's Temple. Do you know them?
Who are like a
Oh yeah, Acid
Japanese.
Mother's Temple. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They're like a Japanese.
Yeah.
They're like
psych.
Japanese psych wizard band,
Yeah,
basically.
It's incredible,
They
but-
supported psychedelic porn crumpets recently.
Oh, did they actually? Are you actually?
No, I don't know that.
Ah, you got
band
me.
is.
But anyway, yeah, I crawled on, got like into the middle of the stage. Yes, got it. Then looked up, and there these like four like wizards, just like, what the hell are you doing? And then I just got up and ran at that
dear.
point. Yeah, that was good. That was crazy. That was crazy in a stupid way.
Yeah, I mean, there've been lots.
There've been crazy moments where you like turn around, someone is like watching you from side of stage, and you're like, oh my god, that person's like my hero, and yeah.
Well, before I do let you go, who has been the wildest person you've seen side of stage watching your show?
What have we seen?
I mean, I was quite taken aback with Stormzy.
Storms.
That was,
we
I
love
mean,
Stormzy.
do love
He was
Stormzy.
he was with Tyler the Creator, and they were just hanging out, shaking their heads. No, they looked vaguely content. I'd
Yeah.
say.
I was just so surprised.
It's a tick of approval.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
quite funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. There've been a couple crazy ones where you're just like, is that who I think it is?
Yeah,
And Joe's like, shut up, I'm trying to play the drums.
Yeah.
concentrate.
And you're performing tonight here in Sydney, and
Yes.
let's say, hypothetically, you could have anyone turn up to your show tonight. Who would it be? Anyone.
Wow.
What? Kylie?
Okay.
She's-
Kylie, that's a good one.
Does she live
I mean,
here
that
now?
would be
That'd be
She's-
pretty...
that'd
I'm
be
thinking of
sick.
Australians.
Yeah, but she
Nick
went to
Cave?
England too.
Amy's.
Yeah, our manager loves Nick Cave.
Okay, so we'll invite Nick Cave and
We'll invite
Kylie
Nick
Minogue
Cave.
together.
Royalty.
Tonight.
She'll just cry the whole time though, so maybe don't invite.
I'm sure.
It'll be
We'll
orcs.
talk about it. But boys, thank you so much for joining us here in the
Thanks.
Build Studio. A round of
Yeah,
applause
thanks for having us.
for Glass Animals here on Build Series Sydney.
Thanks.